Okay, thank you. So Ted Eichheit here, Matt Suburo, planner, as I said before, mostly environmental planning and on the steering committee of the Matsu Basin Salmon Habitat Partnership. And I have the awesome, incredible, somewhat difficult task of doing some summarizing comments. And how do you do that? I've been thinking about that all day, and at about 3 o'clock this morning. So I was a former teacher, and I had a chance to teach 9th grade environmental science. And in teaching that class, I came across something that I'm going to use to kind of do my summary comments. And you may have heard of this. Most of us have taken an ecology class. We study ecology. It's very complex. And I decided to try to teach ecology to 9th graders, which, if you've ever worked with early high school, that can be difficult. So I was fortunate to come upon this this way of thinking about ecology that I've used ever since. And I use it often in my work. I'll suddenly shout out one of these truisms. And so I want to just review some of the things I picked up today, why I share with you the 4 laws of ecology. And please keep track, count to make sure I actually give you 4. And so I just want to review some things and then leave you with hopefully a small bit of inspiration. So first of all, I really enjoyed the conference. I'm not just saying that. If I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't say anything. So I did enjoy it this year, mostly because maybe it was a little less wonky than I've seen in the past. Everything was engaging, and I really enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. I want to go back to the beginning, though. Our keynote speaker, John McMillan, in the Elwha River dam removal. And that was pretty incredible, especially since just down the road here, we have the Eklutna River Dam removed. And it was just fascinating to see his data and to see what looks like the resilience of nature. And the law of ecology that I wrote down for that is everything goes somewhere. And in this case, the fish, they went back upriver as soon as you gave them a chance. It reminded me of the movie A Field of Dreams, build it and they will come, or in this case, remove it and they will come. And it was very inspiring to see how resilient the fish were, and how all these miles of habitat were opened, and all this, the hope for a traditional fishery was started. So I really enjoyed his presentation, and everything goes somewhere, which can be applied to many things that we see in nature and in ecology. The second thing that really stood out was some of the things on repairing habitat for me. Jeanette Stair did, and it just emphasized something that's been in the news a lot, and that's called infrastructure, right? Our big infrastructure bill was signed into law, and Alaska's getting a lot of infrastructure, and a lot of people are pumped up about that. But we seldom think about the infrastructure of nature that nature provides, and just that transition zone from terrestrial to aquatic, that area we call the riparian zone, all the benefits that gives, that natural infrastructure that's there. And that reminds me of the second law of ecology, and that is nature knows best. And oftentimes I think the hubris of being a human is we say we can make that better. But when it comes to natural systems that have developed and evolved over long periods of time, those systems work, and they provide real valuable services. And one of the things that we've talked about on the National Fish Habitat Partnership Board is just this fact that it's a lot cheaper to preserve than to restore. And I think that going back to the Elwha River, you know, it was expensive to remove that dam. So, you know, this nature knows best. There's a lot of things we can learn from nature. So I really enjoy just seeing some of those presentations. The next law is everything is connected, which I think is a classic ecological concept. And there are so many things that I could connect to that. Certainly the invasives, one of the comments I heard was that we live essentially, you know, we keep hearing this term of a global society where our ecosystems are becoming global, and invasives are just part of that problem. As we have easily moved around the earth, we bring our stuff with us, and some of that stuff are natural organisms, and they have real impacts. But you know, the everything is connected is kind of a very broad-based law. And one of the things that I liked was this connection to young people. And this afternoon, we, under the engaging communities, we had some younger people, and I love younger people because they represent all that is possible in humans in terms of excitement and fresh look at the world. And I think a real key is for us to work with our young people and show them their connection to nature, no child left inside, and give them the love for the natural resources, the fisheries that we presently have. You know, there's this concept, you can't really save something until you love it. And to love it, you have to know it. And so I'm sure many of us in our roles as parents or mentors take our young people out to experience nature, but I just want to encourage all of us to do that a little bit more and to find the excitement they have, find our reconnection with nature through our young people, and help them make those connections. You know, I have to share a connection with the lampreys. So I learned about lampreys when I was working on my fisheries and wildlife biology degree, and you know, I saw the pickled lampreys and at Iowa State University, you know, and you know, they didn't really have much connection to me. But you know, there's some really interesting presentations on lampreys today, and it connected me to a past memory. I remember fishing for trout in a little stream in eastern Wisconsin, and I came upon a little lamprey, and I'm sure it was a brook lamprey, and I remember that because it was different, it was fresh, and just I haven't seen any lampreys in Alaska, but I'm very excited to see my first lamprey here. And I was looking at some of the comments, people said, I saw him here and I saw him there. And these are these little things that connect us to nature and get us excited. And I really appreciate that. So I think I said 3 laws. Hopefully you're keeping count. I'm going to hit return here on my chat. I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm going to hit return here on my chat. There we go. So now you have the 4 laws. And again, the credit goes to Barry Commoner and Garrett Hardin. But the last one is there's no free lunch. And I know many of us have heard that before. Many of us know that. And I guess that brings me to the work of this symposium and of the Matsu Basin Salmon Habitat Partnership and all the fish habitat partnerships around the United States. You know, there's a lot of people involved. If you remember, I mentioned something about over 1,000 projects that have either protected, restored, or enhanced aquatic ecosystems. And so, you know, the no free lunch of all this good work is it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of knowledge. And there's been a lot of knowledge sharing here, a lot of research. And it is so important that we have this knowledge base so we can make good decisions. You know, if you think about our policymakers, they need data and they need somebody to get that knowledge, and they need somebody to disseminate it. And the habitat partnerships are an important function for that. It takes passion. I heard a lot of passion in our presenters today. I appreciate that. You know, if you want to capture other people to your way of thinking, show some passion, they're saying, what are they excited about? And that passion will be passed on. It takes inclusion. There's a lot of different partners in our particular partnership here, a very diverse set of partners, and we need more partners. We need to be talking to our policymakers, including them more and more. I do know we had some policymakers on our summer site tour this summer. That's so good to see. We need to continue those things. It takes a village. That's a little bit of a cliche, but again, that talks about that diversity of people coming together to talk, to discuss, to ponder, to be inspired. It also takes some perspective. You know, every time I go to another symposium, my perspective grows a little bit. Every time I go on a summer site tour, my perspective grows a little bit. Every time I go fishing, my perspective grows a little bit. And when you get a little older like myself, collectively we call that wisdom. And it never ends, but it's something that the Salmon Habitat Partnership, this symposium, is something we all share with each other, and I appreciate that. And finally, it takes inspiration. And I think the work is hard. The work is often discouraging. The work has hurdles, but we all find our little bits of inspiration. And if you look at my background, I think I have some poetry there, and there's a picture of one of my dogs, and have a painting of a raven because I have a window here and I love watching the ravens. I guess I would like to just leave you with a little inspiration before I make my final remarks. And so, you know, I grew up in Iowa. One of my professors called it the Black Desert. I'm not sure if it's somewhat accurate, but he got in a little bit of trouble for that. But, you know, you learn to see a lot of beauty in a place where that's highly managed, in this case for agriculture. But I had a lot of chances to read different works, literature, and I had a lot of chance to explore the North Country. And one of my favorite authors was Sigurd Olsen. Sigurd Olsen is, I believe, one of the founders of Wilderness Society, and he's very famous for some of his books about the North Country, the canoe country, I think Boundary Waters canoe area, which I've had a chance to travel through many times. And so I love the poem we had earlier today about worms. I love worms. Who doesn't love worms? And so, you know, before my final thank yous, I just wanted to read this little quote from Sigurd Olsen. It's something that I encourage all of us to do for ourselves so we keep our inspiration. It's very short. Joys come from simple and natural things. Mist over meadows, sunlight on leaves, the path of the moon over water, even rain and wind and stormy clouds bring joy. So I believe that. I get 2 15-minute breaks a day, and unless something's really pressing, I go for a walk. And I get my little bits of inspiration every day, and it allows me to do my work a little harder, a little better, and it allows me to appreciate all the work that everyone here in the Salmon Habitat Partnership has done to further our knowledge and our networking and our inspiration about aquatic ecosystems. So I have a couple final thank yous. Thank you to the sponsors, the presenters, the organizers, the attendees, Thank you all. There is one last little act of homework. That is, there's going to be a link to an evaluation form in the chat. It would be nice if you could fill that out. I'll fill mine out and then I'll go for my walk. The event has been recorded, and that recording will be posted on the Salmon Habitat Partnership website, and also, I believe, emailed to all the participants, so you can watch it again. And then last but not least, see you next year. So this is Ted Eichscheid from the Matsu Bureau. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to look at the 4 laws of ecology. I think I got my 4. And please do the evaluation as soon as you can. That's all I have. Take care.